Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Hangoutlander, episode 405, recapping the Savages, or maybe it's just Savages. I'm joined tonight by Beth, Heidi, Becca, and myself, Nikki. And we are going to discuss everything that happened this week. If you were following along on Twitter and just about every other social media platform, you probably know how we feel about this episode, but let's spend an hour just gushing about the whole thing. Beth, do you want to say hi?
Yes, we never do that. We never
No.
stop and gush about Outlander. So it's gonna be a very different hour, I think, than normal. But I'm having a Malbec, a net Malbec, and some gummy bears. And I am gonna pour out the rest of my LaCroix for Duncan LaCroix eventually because he was the star of this episode, and I needed to drink it for him. Cran raspberry because it's the holidays.
Oh, that's cute. I'm Becca. I'm here with a glass of wine, and I opened a very expensive bottle of wine because, number one, I didn't have any of my cheap bottles left, but Nikki and I went to this winery when we were together in September, and I've been waiting for a special occasion, and I thought, well, hell, I liked an Outlander episode. This is a good enough occasion to open a $55 bottle of wine, so I did. And so now I have to drink this the rest of the week, and I don't think I'm going to be home. Or I'll just drink it all tonight. But I'm here in Philadelphia with a special bottle of wine. It's delicious.
Worth it. All right, Heidi.
And I am Heidi. I am drinking some like week-old apple cider with some whiskey mixed in, and I didn't pour it, so it's a little stronger than I usually pour. And I'm happy to be here.
How much are we going to be crying in like 20 minutes after like all of these drinks? I'm excited. I'm drinking something that was like a nice bottle, and I didn't know it was a nice bottle, and I'm not sure it's worth the money, but this is like a blend, and it's called Alluvium, and I don't know if I like it. So if you see it out and about, I don't know. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
Where shall we start? They are on the ridge, living life. It must have like fast forwarded a few months because now the home is built. It looks lovely. We were talking about how lived in and like Joanna Gaines'd out the whole place is. Like, did they just fast forward, or how did he get all of his little Scottish buddies to come out and make this house so quick? Or
I don't think so. Scottish buddies don't seem to like him.
I know.
I'm amazed by how much time it had to have taken for them to have like gotten their own food, like just done the regular stuff that would have allowed them to live. And at the same time, Jamie and Ian built this house. Like, that's what kills me. Like, who's skinning the rabbits?
Yeah, exactly.
I was wondering with the windows, like how did the amount of time and effort it would take to get the windows up to the ridge signified a large amount of time to me.
Because they're 3 days away from town, right? Whatever that town is. Is that Williamsburg?
Williams Creek.
Williams Creek.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know how in the world they got glass. Like, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
No, I remember in the book it was like a big deal that Jamie got Claire these like glass windows because it was like a huge deal, and they were like leaded glass or something, and better than the leather window coverings or whatever.
And Shirley Amuse is asking, how do they have money for this? Last we knew, they had all of their money was gone, right?
Well,
Right.
I know what's her name. Jocasta gave them money.
Oh,
before they left.
Okay.
So that's how they have money at all. My assumption is that's the only way they have money, unless Claire's been like turning tricks in Williams Creek while Jamie's building the house. I don't know.
Andrea Adelaide said, Jocasta sent rid shit. Everybody wants us to use hashtag rid shit. It's hard to say that word.
Rid shit.
Rid shit. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
All night long. Yes, Jocasta sent them plenty of rid shit.
Yeah, they do. They have baskets and like cute little like leather pulls on the doors, and they have so much stuff. Who's making those colonial chairs? They have like those ladder back chairs. Like, who made those? Who's got like a turner or whatever to like turn the wood to make like the spindles on that stuff. Like, where are they getting it? Crazy.
So Jamie and Claire are essentially the like colonial version of like trust fund kids. They just have like a well-connected aunt who just gives them money, and they, you know, have Joanna Gaines come in and do their home.
Right, exactly. They're like
While they're out hunting
Williamsburg. They're the Williamsburg of colonial Virginia or North Carolina, wherever they are. Williamsburg, as in Brooklyn. Yes,
It is.
Not the actual Williamsburg.
not the actual Williamsburg. Whoops.
Why did they kill off Nana Wayne, whatever they renamed her in the show, or whatever they renamed her in the show from the book? Like, we're
Adewale.
switching gears.
She dies in the book,
Yeah, she does.
right?
Is she not the woman that she's talking to at the end, and Claire tells her the story about the skull and the opal and all that stuff?
In the book?
Yeah. Is that not the same lady at the end?
I think Beth is frozen, and I am not the one to ask.
I don't particularly remember where. I read the books 3 times. I don't remember where that happened in the books. And Beth was frozen.
That's definitely frozen. But I remember she tells the healer of the tribe about.
Like they killed her off earlier than they did in the books. So I do think there's a little bit more suspension built as far as her and her importance to the relationship with Claire. But I don't know exactly in what order that all happened.
Morgan is saying that's a different older Native woman. And then I think Antoinette said yes in the book, but I don't know if she's answering our question. No, Beth's back.
Oh, damn, I'm confused.
We were trying to remember if the...
I think that isn't it?
Yeah, well, you disconnected again. Your internet sucks tonight.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm also tweeting out gifts like that. I don't need to be doing that. But Adewale dies in the book.
Yeah, but who's the woman at the end that she tells about the ticket back and the skull and the opal? Who's that lady?
I don't know.
Somebody said it's a Mohawk woman at the end. A bunch of people.
Oh, I thought it was the same woman. I'm confused. Sorry. Sorry, book readers.
Yeah, so here's what people are thinking. That Heather Hargrave says she thinks she gets measles in the books. Does not get scalped. I don't.
Yes, that's correct. She does not. She gets the measles.
Oh, okay. And then it's a Mohawk woman at the end, and Morgan connect. That was Brittany and Morgan both said. Emily thought it was the same person. So Team TN, Emily is from TN.
Team TN, we cannot remember what we've read. That's the way we work.
Yeah.
And that was literally a month ago. Sorry, everyone.
Somebody sang the final Jeopardy. Na, 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 na. Somebody want us to sing that. There you go, sports gal.
Am I off again?
No.
Or are we just lulling?
Awkward silence. I know we don't know what to say. Well, there's nothing to complain about. I guess they're not in this anymore.
That's exactly it. We don't know what to talk about. Okay, well, I can bitch about something. I can bitch about something when we want.
Well,
I don't want to. I really like this episode.
I know it was great.
Maybe we should talk about the adaptation. Like, clearly this episode was a little more liberal in book to TV show. And I know that's something we have been complaining and asking for and asking for and asking for. And they did it and we loved it. Like, let's talk a little bit about why it worked.
Does that mean we want to talk about the big reveal from this episode yet?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, Purely Amused gave us an outline. It's the first comment of the thing. She said her body's ready to discuss all the Rid shit, #Rid shit, hot Jamie in glasses and tricorn, Roger's new job at UPS, and a grumpy old man with one wig to rule them all. There you go.
Okay.
We just need to go down that list.
I can talk about hot Jamie all night. He looked incredibly good in this episode, even when he wasn't wearing the tricorn. I don't know what they did, but the wig did not look bad. It looked good.
Yeah, I mean, there was one point, I think the bangs were bothering me a little bit, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah, I didn't think about them.
Apparently, he even looked good from behind because that woman, that Mrs. McNeil, who opened the door, was like looking him up and down, even when his back was turned. like, she was ready just by his back. So
colonial pants.
good.
It looks to me like Williams Creek is a very small community, and she's probably knows all the men who are there. And so, yes, probably as soon as she saw him, she was like, "Oh, who are you?" I think so. Even from the back, she would have known.
I liked your take on that in your post, Beth, because whenever I was watching it, I looked over at my husband and I was like, I can't think of a time in my life where I saw a man within 3 seconds and was ready to bed him. I can't think of a time. Like I can find something that annoys me about them within moments. And so I was like, okay, Jamie is apparently the king of men because she was ready to make it happen. The instant, I mean, his back, she was ready.
Yeah, she was probably she probably was entertaining more than one man in general. She seemed to be a little bit of a floozy. And so I think that she was like, oh, a good one. Maybe she was like anticipating men coming because her husband was gone.
And plus, if you look at those guys, you're like, oh, they're all poxed and gross and probably haven't had a shower. And at least Claire's like, hey, you should brush your teeth with this twig so you don't lose them. So, I mean, he probably has a lot going for him compared to those guys.
I was super irritated by the fact that they thought this girl get 2 scenes and we didn't even get any like Jamie Claire love or something like that. And I'm going to be like,
Did you see the tweets that said the reason that happened was because of something that's going to happen in the future here with someone he's going to see who's he's going to think is hitting on him, and that's why it happened? Do you agree with that theory? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I didn't see the tweets. I didn't see the tweets, but I do know what you're saying. Yes, like they need to kind of build up to the fact that like Jamie's no longer entertaining like women like Leary, like looking him up and down. He's not okay with it anymore. Like he knows the correct answer is no thanks. The meat pies at home are super good or whatever.
I love that imagery, that the pie. Like I've got a real hot pie for you.
We have a whole storehouse full of jerky. Thanks.
But it's on a really tall shelf and I can't reach it. So
could you reach the jerky? I'm like, turn around. You can fucking reach that jerky.
Right.
Yeah,
Was
she's
there
not
like
supposed
a
to be as
step
tall as
stool
him.
they made in all of their IKEA furniture building over the last 2 months? They didn't get a step stool.
When she shrugged on that whole like rabbit vest, she was like feeling herself.
Like
He was loving that. He was loving that rabbit vest. The thing was tight. She needed to add like one more buckskin to that thing. It needed a little bit more. One more coney on that rabbit skin vest to make it the right size.
The whole rabbit pie.
There's some conversations happening that I can't follow because I don't remember the book on YouTube, but I believe they're talking. Diana Anderson said, what is Jamie trying to have made for Claire? And then people are saying,
oh, ring.
Yeah, with the ring. It's foreshadowing. And then it's foreshadowing. I don't know what is. It's foreshadowing Jamie meeting Bree. Remember when he says meeting a merit man?
Yeah, that's what the tweets I was talking about. They're foreshadowing when he meets the woman, Mrs. McNeil at the door. That was foreshadowing whenever he meets Brianna, and he's like, "Hey, girl." Well, anyway, I don't want to be spoiled.
Hey, girl.
Merit means married. Got it. I get it.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And they're definitely setting that up, like with whatever her name is, the native woman saying she's here, and Claire totally like, yeah, she's in my heart. That's a nice moment. And then Jamie's like, oh, I had a dream about her. And here's something I'm going to know who she is because of this birthmark.
Okay, but does anyone's dad kiss them on the back of the neck? Or was that weird?
Yeah,
that's going to be really odd for him to locate if he's like, oh, this is my daughter. Let me look.
I guarantee you there's going to be a moment where she like moves and he sees it. I guarantee. There's no way they would have said all of that. It's all hidden by her hair. 100% she's going to have to move her hair at some point. He's going to see it, and that's when he's going to realize who she is.
And it's going to be a perfect diamond right behind her left ear, just a perfect diamond birthmark.
But like, how in the world does he have these lucid dreams of the future / past of what he can see her birthmark, but he's not going to recognize her face?
Right.
That looks just like his.
that he's seen pictures of, like as she looks now.
Right.
Tall, red-haired woman. It's gonna
In a
sound-
bikini. He's seen a
Oh my
picture.
gosh.
Wait, did he see that in the show, or is that just the book?
Wow. I think it was the book, but
No, I think it was in the
Was it the
show.
show?
I think he does see.
He like freaks
Like a
out. for a
baby.
second. Yeah, I vaguely remember it, but I don't know if it's the book or not. I get confused.
Yeah. I think it's the show too. I don't know. I only saw that like once.
Purely
I
amuses.
didn't watch any of it.
Purely Muse is excited for the diamond-shaped temporary tattoos they'll start to sell at conventions.
in a flesh tone.
Yeah.
And it's gonna say like "kissed by Da" or something around the diamond.
And Brittany said at the end her hair was tied up and we didn't see a birthmark. Like, couldn't they have like shown it or something? Like, it just seems a little like if that's gonna be a big thing and Hallie recognizes her, then
Well, she was like, barely shown in the episode at all. Like I think maybe it was just the end where they just show her walking up to the stones and then going around and she's not there. Like, she has not been a big player for most of this entire series, but
Yeah, and
especially this season.
I would have died laughing if they had done a close up on that. I would have like
For
this
sure.
episode. Forget me thinking it was the best episode ever. I would have just been like, "No, you are canceled." That is dumb as shit.
I don't mean like a panning of her birthmark, but like it's noticeable when they have a close up of her.
No. No.
They should
Too
just
far.
use the Instagram story filter where it just zooms in and the hearts. It's her.
But yeah, like I said at the end of the recap this week, like I'm missing Brianna. Like she should have been more in this episode.
They both
Would
should
love
have,
to-
but she definitely should have.
Yes. Like why? How did she find out? Like what was her process and how is she getting there? Like I would have loved for them, if they're going to do an adaptation, show me her trying to get through Inverness and figure out where she's going and what she's doing and like being upset and writing the letter, all of that.
Mm-hmm. And now it makes me worried that they're not even going to show her in Scotland. She's just going to appear in America. But I'm kind of confused with how they set up the episodes.
Yeah.
Like the next one and then the following one, when she's going to end up there.
She just said, I'm sorry, I forget who it is. It's Purely Amuse again. She's dominating the chat. Actually, she's not. That's just good. We thought we'd see more Bree next week, but I can't imagine they're going to swing back and forth from Lord John and Willie to Bree, which I would agree.
Oh,
that would be.
I think they're going to. There's no way they're staying with Lord John and Willie the whole time.
Why not? That man deserves it.
Is he for sure going to be in it next week?
Yeah.
That was the preview.
I didn't see a preview.
Yeah. It's Willie and Lord John next week, but they'll be Bree in it next week for sure. Because next week is
Fraser just brought up on Twitter that they had Brianna, who has this lovely long straight hair, having that big Claire bun on top of her head from the first 2 seasons, and that just made me laugh. So sorry.
it's like super curly, and you're like, she's been like what, ironing her hair this whole time? Like, why is it curly?
Diana wants to know what you're drinking since you are missing Brianna. Beth.
I mean, something wrong for sure. But no, there really should have been more of her. She hasn't been that bad this season. I talked about that last week.
Yeah,
she apologized already. She said she was wrong.
I was amending my thoughts. I wasn't wrong then.
I'm not wrong now either.
Right.
I was at dinner with someone last night and she was like, "Oh, have you been watching Outlander this season?" And I was like, "Happy." And I was like, "Oh my God, this night's episode is so amazing, la la la." And she's like, "Oh, I haven't watched any of it yet this season." And she's like, "How's that Brianna girl?" And I was like, "Actually, it's not bad. Like, either they've like just selectively shown us like good stuff, or things are maybe turning a corner." And she was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna watch it."
It's like her stories had more momentum or something. So it's not like so much just like her having to act. She actually has something to respond to or like react to. And it's probably helped.
Yeah, she's got better material, I think, this time. And she's less bratty. And she's less wooden. I mean, she has had some moments where I'm like, yikes, get it together. But she's been much better. So
the YouTube comments are agreeing that she's better now. Heather thinks she took some acting lessons. And Sports Gal asks, didn't it look like the mountain in the background of the last shot after Bree goes through the stones was the same mountain in North Carolina from last week? I mean, it might be the same screen, but I don't know. I didn't notice that.
I don't think so because it was the stones.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and it's like a big deal that Roger discovers like that specific stone circle, like a different one.
Yeah. I don't think that I don't think she made it to America through that stone circle.
She doesn't in the books. I don't remember.
She goes to Scotland first.
Here's the thing is a lot of people were saying they're afraid she's not going to be going to Lallybrook because Jenny is not in this season. And, but eventually she ends up with some of Claire's clothing. So I think that she does. I think that we're going to see that this week.
And we 100% know that Jenny's character does not show up even as a guest role.
Yeah, I think she said she wasn't in it this season.
That's what she said.
Laura Donnelly said she wasn't in it.
I just wonder.
It might just be one of those things where they just show her on the road and then they just show a like a Lallybrook shot and then, you know, one of those where it's not like she's really having any sort of interaction, which would suck, but I really like those scenes where she goes back and meets them.
Yeah, I do too. Those are some of my favorites. I love when she meets her cousins and he's like, Mom's going to have kittens. I love it.
And she has that whole hike with Big Ian. Oh,
that might happen.
Brittany's worried that once she starts in scenes with Sam and Kate, she's going to be obliterated by their acting. Obliterated. Whoop, that's
obliterated?
Obliterated.
I don't think that's going to happen. Is that shitty of me to say? I mean, I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, Richard Rankin is really good, and she hasn't been obliterated by his acting this time around. So,
true.
Okay, but speaking of him, there's a lot of drama about his post-breakup outfit that he wore.
He looked awful. He looked.
I mind his head being covered. Honestly, I mean, not to be mean, but.
I mean, the hat wasn't bad, but it literally looked like he was wearing sweatpants tucked into boots with like an old overcoat from like Mrs. Graham's closet. And like, I don't want to use the word homeless, but
his
like
haunch was showing.
He just looked like rolled through someone's closet and out of bed and onto the mean streets of Inverness. Terrible.
He should have looked rumpled and like he probably like got on the first train out and like ran to Inverness to follow her. And so he should look like rumpled. But why in the world does he look so fat and so like gross? He's not an unattractive person IRL. Like there's no reason for him to look like just diabetic.
Diabetic. Well, apparently Terry did not agree with that look either. She took to Twitter and denounced that look immediately.
She denounced Roger's entire look for the whole season, except for the one outfit she picked out, which was the turtleneck and the kilt.
Shocking.
I mean, she threw that co-designer under the bus. I'm here for that. I think that's hilarious.
I'm here for it, but that's so shitty. That just looks bad for you. You know, like good thing her husband like hires her for all these shows to work on because that's not the way to get hired on. No, I think
what it is, she's retiring. Like this season's her last season. She's retiring, so she does not give any Fs anymore.
Right.
Oh, I mean, she's got such a burgeoning career as a political retweeter, so she's really gotta make time.
I have to read you guys these comments because they're golden. All right, we've got Andrea Adelaide says, Roger's outfit made Jamie's wig look good, which is probably why we all weren't distracted by it. And then Andy G says, he wore 12 shirts and 2 sweaters, and Ms. Beard was literally in stockings and a light shirt. What was the costume department thinking? And then we've got, oh, wait, hold on. It's Courtney said, it's like when Joey puts on all of Chandler's clothes. In Friends, that episode.
I wonder if they're trying to make him.
Or when he wears like the pant point.
What did you say, Heidi?
There is a like idea that he dressed like that because he knew he's going to go back through the stones and he needs layers, but none of it is appropriate for 200 years in the past.
Oh,
So
he's not stupid.
I think it's more likely that they're doing that so that he'll look thin and emaciated later on in the season.
Sure.
maybe.
Or they're just not thinking, because sometimes I wonder.
It's also
Really
pretty
dressed
funny that like it's really funny that he's eventually like very shortly not going to be dressed in the 70s clothing at all. And we spent all this time talking about how bad he looks, and like that's not going to be his costumes for much longer.
He's gonna be it.
Ross is my favorite, like honestly, one of my probably my favorite character from the whole series. So I have problems with TV Roger, but that's just me. I'm dealing with
Roger is your favorite?
I've read them all like 2 or 3 times. He's my favorite character from all the books. Yep.
I like his character journey after reading this book a lot. And I'm excited to see how Rick does the whole change, essentially, of him from like cornering Brianna in the cabin of like, I'm only going to get with a virgin to, the whole priest and that whole thing. So
Emily agrees with you, Heidi. Emily Leland.
Emily was talking about.
a lot of people love Roger. I mean, Elise just wrote a post about him.
Yeah.
That was
Everyone's
about Rick.
Oh,
That was about
Rick, Roger, same shit.
How about Rick's brother, though? That's
I was about to say. Rick's brother has taken to Twitter to avenge his fans or something, and his mom or some random.
I literally don't know the origin story of that. If anybody does, please tweet us.
I kind of do.
Oh,
I mean,
I thought you were trying to
think
not find out.
A couple of Richard Stan accounts have been blocking other Richard fans for not being fanish enough or not being of their tribe. And all of those people were complaining. And his brother got on and was like, Rick ain't about this block life. And some other stuff. And so everybody was like, I know, I'm still Richard fan, but I wish they'd unblock me. Like, why do you need to be in a specific... Why do you need to be in a specific fan group? Those fan groups are dumb as fuck. Go do something else.
Exactly.
I need Rick Rankin's brother to go against William Shatner and for just the whole world to explode.
I need Rick to be on Twitter the way Stephen Cree is on Twitter and just lets shit roll. Like, no fucks to give, no tweets to care, Were these the same Rick Rankin fans who like got up in arms with the Outlander official social media presence because they tried to change the Roger Bree hashtag couple name and they freaked out? They're like, we've spent 2 years establishing this and I'm gonna email someone.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine like furiously emailing people about like the fact that the hashtag isn't what you want it to be? Like, how many times have we been like, y'all's social media presence is wrong, but we don't like furiously emailing them about it.
No.
We just tweet about it on Hangoutlander.
Right.
I like to picture all of their like call your manager haircuts as they
very Kate +8.
Yeah, very Kate +8.
And then the people who have to respond in like a very PR fashion, like, okay, we've heard your concerns. Like, it's just the fucking worst.
It's gonna be MacBree, so just get over yourselves.
What is it? It's McBree?
MacBree or something.
I mean, that's dumb. That's real dumb.
What Outlander was trying to make happen, and I think the rank and file and the sophisticates or the whoever's. I think that's their name.
You are dorks!
What do they want it to be?
I mean, yes, we're in the Twilight fandom and we're dorks, but like you're taking it too far.
Yeah, too many dorks.
And I've had 3 glasses of wine, so.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what happens when there's not enough terrible things to say about an episode. We just go in on someone who's like losing their mind on Twitter.
But we need to talk about the best thing about the episode ever.
Yes, ever.
Nah.
The best wig of all.
The best reunion of all.
Okay, so I think we should go one at a time and reenact our faces when we heard the voice. I'm not going first.
We should have. You should have told us once, because you guys knew. Beth and Nikki had watched it a couple of days ago. You should have told us, guys, just record yourselves, like about 12 minutes in or whatever it was.
Oh, I should have.
Totally should have done that.
Oh, that would have been a good idea.
I know, because I had no idea.
Because
I
fell asleep
was
on
not expecting it. I was
Me neither.
like it was like on the level of the Red Wedding, but with less murder. Like it was just
Red Wedding.
surprised.
It was a happy red wedding.
You just didn't know what was gonna happen. I was like, oh, and you just like had this moment, and there was tears I have right now. I was watching it again like 30 minutes ago, and I started to have that same reaction.
Oh yeah, when I watched it the second time, I missed it up again. That's a good scene.
Yeah, I think because it's a surprise, and then just because I think because you guys were both tweeting and telling us like this episode was so amazing, I was like, I just assumed it was something Jamie and Claire. Like I was like, whatever. Right. I was very skeptical, and then I saw it, and I was just like, oh, this is not what I expected. Even though we knew he was going to come back eventually, right? But that just seeing him there, it was perfect.
How dare you doubt my opinion?
Well, when it comes to Outlander.
I mean, I'm right about Outlander. That's my whole brand.
I think Stars and Sony, if they haven't cut the for your consideration for that one scene for Sam and even for Duncan, like that was so good. Their acting was so on point. Sam's facial expressions were amazing. Was like 100 emoji, like just nailed every moment. And like I have so much to tell you. Like anytime I think about it, I'm like, like they're you just can't even explain. Like
it's been how many years? 35?
No, like 22 or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah. After our
2 years. Oh, yeah, they were together in Artsmere, so like 15 years.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I forgot they were together. Okay.
But like what kills me and what I think made it such a good adaptation, and the reason that we're all having this response to it, yes, it was well acted and it was good, but it was also surprised just the fact that we didn't have memorized the lines that Jamie was going to say when he saw Myrta again. We didn't know how Ian and Myrta were going to interact. And so every moment was a surprise. Even the tenor of how this scene was going to go was a surprise. And that is what makes it such a good adaptation. The fact that they're giving us something that we're not expecting. And so it really makes me kind of bummed that I'm a book reader and that there are people who love Outlander who don't read the books, and there's probably good reason for that. And so for the rest of us, we're like, Outlander's okay. And then there's this whole probably like sect of people who watch it and appreciate it for what it is. But at the same time, I know it's not really that good all the time. So this was like a good episode, is what I'm saying.
I love what you said in your recap. Like it was familiar characters, familiar people in a setting that we didn't know at all. Yeah. And I was like, this is what adaptation is, and what they haven't landed on 75, 80, 90% of the time. Yeah. And it was really good.
It's fan fiction. Remember when they did that whole thing with Frank and we were like, yes! Frank was like doing his CIA thing with Sally from the Alley or whatever in the first season. We were like, this is so great, because it wasn't anything that we knew about. And it was wonderful. And everybody hated it because it was Frank, but it was in character. It was on point, and like it was something surprising and new. And so it was a really good thing to do. Even the Garrison Commander, that episode 6 of season 1 is so good. And it's like a whole like fan fiction-esque type adaptation of what that moment between Black and Claire are about. And so the moments are always great.
I know that after that happened, I immediately was like, who wrote this? Who directed this? How did this get through Matt Roberts? Sorry.
Not really.
Like,
sorry, not sorry.
Through. Sorry, not sorry. But it's Bronwyn Garrity and Denise DeNovi. Whom Denise directed the one before, and she's directing a few more. Bronwyn has the very last episode, I believe, of the season. So
that's good.
I'm just saying, not to get our hopes up, but
well, she did a great job. She really did. And she'd done Good Girls Revolt, which I loved that show. I know a lot of people didn't, but I thought that show was great.
Yeah.
There's some really great comments. I'm going to read them. Emily Leland says there was nothing to ruin. That's why we loved it. Leslie Miller said the scene was so perfectly written. She loved young Ian's confused spoil to the big emotions. Purely Amused says she can't wait to see how they weave them into the story. They're so glad they didn't have him replace Duncan Innes. That would have been boring. Andy G says it was cool as hell. They made him one of the leaders of the regulators. And there's so many good.
Well, and I think that was what was great about it, is that it raised the stakes of that tension with Governor Tryon and what it means to be a landowner under this government, knowing what's coming in the future with the American Revolution. Now it's not just regulators; it's that he has to be battling with his conscience on who his alliances to. And I really liked that. That added tension is going to be good for the rest of the season.
What year is it?
1768. No, 68.
68.
What? It's not the 72?
That's in the future. It's 1971. It's 1768 in the past.
All right.
I think they also did a good job of like hearkening back to the whole Scottish uprising too, of like they're having this meeting and we all remember the meeting in Jamie and they show us back, but it's a much different version of that. We have Murtaugh and he has the tartan on the vest and it's like this very small like wink of like where these people have come from and like the story of how they're going to lead this revolution against a awful dictatorship, essentially. Not really, I guess, theocracy, but whatever it is.
Monarchy.
Monarchy.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hi.
Sorry. But yeah, you're totally right. There is like a huge that raised the stakes between Jamie and Murtaugh. Like it's going to give you. There's a lot more going on in season 5 that has to deal with this kind of tension, and so like the fact that they're setting a lot of that up now for later on is good and great. I love that. I love just not just a shoe-in for Duncan Innes from the book. But let's talk about the big glaring plot hole with the Murtaugh thing that we haven't talked about, which is how come he hasn't sent how come he hasn't sent anybody a letter? Like, why does nobody know he's alive and well in Willem's Creek?
Because that doesn't make good television. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, that has to be the only answer is they're like, yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah, I know who we can ask because this is my favorite comment so far of the night. It's coming from Chuck Freeze. I have to imagine that Chuck's wife is using his account. I can't imagine that's a man. If it is, Chuck, welcome. And Chuck Freeze says, in an interview, Diana said that she offered up this plot line for Murtaugh.
Good.
Oh my gosh.
So we can ask Diana why he didn't write any motherfucking letters.
Well, first off, of course, Diana is
taking
credit for this good
story. She could have gone an invitation to the New York premiere.
Yeah.
That's right.
Courtney said, whether this is true or not, likely unknown. Just like J.K. Rowling and all her, I've kept this secret for 20 years. BS.
I would fully 100% believe that Diana gave them that plot line because they have not proven themselves to be good at finding the good narrative punch. They are not good at that. Yeah. She's better at that than they are.
Yeah.
So I mean, yes, it's like a huge ass humble brag on her part, but like she probably did do that.
Yeah.
It could have been her storyline, but I'm giving props to Bronwyn for making it come to life on the screen. Definitely. And the writing was superb.
Mm-hmm.
Props, Bronwyn.
And also props because she had to take all those phone calls from Diana.
When Ian says, he says like he'll make garters from my guts or something like that, and Murtaugh's face like drops and he turns around. Is that something Jamie said in the past that Murtaugh would have?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Because I didn't recognize that as a Jamieism, but his face dropped like, oh, I know that saying, and then he turned around. So I was wondering if that was a Jamie Ian.
I think it's a Murtaugh saying. The fact that we don't remember it, the fact that we don't remember it and don't know it, it sucks. Like it's not enough of a Murtaugh saying for us to know it, but like I think that's what it is. I think it's something he has said, but I might be wrong.
I'm asking somebody will actually yes. So we'll find
Someone
out
will,
soon.
well, actually, yes. That's
Somebody
the
will.
one.
Hope it's Chuck.
Nicely.
Come on, Chuck.
Yeah.
Oh, Chuck.
Chuck probably knows.
If Chuck knows, I'm gonna give Chuck the Outlander Fan of the Day award.
Chuck said that she had already killed him off after the show writers decided to keep him. That's when she suggested the idea. Yeah, I think. Yeah, she killed him off.
She
for
probably
real,
went
of
back and
course.
was like, I missed a decent
Yeah,
I could have done.
right. That would have made things easier, like later on or something.
Yeah.
Jamie-
No, I love Jamie having that father figure. That's the biggest part for me, is Jamie having like a father figure around. I want to see where it goes from here on out.
Watch, they'll kill him off next episode.
Oh my god, if they do that, I'm so upset.
Done with the show.
I'm canceled. The account is canceled. Everything.
That would be ridiculous.
That
Why
would be
this
so fucking stupid.
such a huge waste if they do something that dumb.
No, they can't. But
I wouldn't be shocked. Now that you've said that, I'm already sad about it.
They'll sing that song at his funeral.
Oh God, bugle boogie boy. God, I've had a couple drinks, but boogie woogie bugle boy.
I thought that was funny when he was like, was he whistling it or singing it? I didn't.
That
either.
was funny.
Cheesy. It was cheesy.
Funny.
It was a good callback.
I thought it was meta. Yeah. I thought it was super meta because Katrina hated that episode and hated singing it, and she hated every bit of it. And so the fact that they like gave Claire that face of like, oh shit, that's the song of my nightmares to like turn around to is really great. We need to talk about Claire. We haven't talked about her this whole episode, and she was so Claire. She's doing all this cool rich shit. She's feeding all the goats and the white sow and the Clarence, and she's making tea bags, and she's delivering babies, and she's just 100% what I'm here for. Even just like sitting in her chair with her rifle eating jerky, I was like, yes, that's the Claire I want to see.
I love the scene of her like doing the the gun, the musket, and doing the stuff. And I was like, Jamie has totally taught her how to do this, and she's an independent woman. She's ready to blow someone's head off with it. I loved that. And I love that Claire was like the mediator between these people, but it also made me sad because I was sitting there watching it on the second time and I was like, oh my God, this is so much like what is happening now in politics and like the border situation and like our land, their land, and all of this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, this story is like, just keeps repeating. Yeah. Essentially.
Even the name, I mean, Mueller.
Was that his name? Oh, it was.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what their last name was.
Mueller,
Mueller.
M-U-L-L-E-R.
I thought it was with a W
for the current one than in the past.
Maybe it was a shout out.
What's his name?
Wow. I don't particularly love that we're still like kind of in the white savior, moments or whatever, but they did make Mueller way more violent than he is in the books.
He's around for a while in the books too, right? It doesn't happen that fast. Doesn't he like go crazy and live in the woods for a while?
Yeah, he's around and he doesn't die. The Indians don't kill him, and so there's a lot more violence going on in this particular episode. And Claire being like the white savior narrative is not great, but I do like it when Claire is capable Claire and not like bumbling around, making huge stubborn choices that ruin everybody's lives. Claire, like she is in episode 2, like that Claire sucks ass. And this Claire is a lot more fun to watch. And at the very least, more of a compliment to Jamie and all of his many King of Men strengths.
The comments are great. YouTube comments are on fire tonight. Little DA said, why would Jamie leave Claire alone on the ridge for days with just a white rifle, a dog, and an unbarred door? Discuss. And then Courtney said, yes, with the rifle, here for it. I'm so anti-gun. And then I'm sorry, I don't know how to say this. Melena Evans said she should have made a bolt for her door. With all her time. Could have just kept him out with a bolt.
He's walking right in. Put a chair in front of the door.
Emily, time passed because she learned how to knit. I didn't even catch that. Just one episode she said she couldn't knit, and now she's knitting.
Oh, that's true. True.
Yeah.
And didn't it? They had that whole conversation. He's taught her so much.
Yeah, she's learned everything. And at the same time, he had time to teach her and build that house.
Yeah. And put that mantle and stain the wood and plane the floors. I mean,
And buy a pig.
he's more than the king of men. He's like a robot. Like, can't do all that stuff and sleep.
Yeah. Dee wants to talk about like how the indigenous people are being portrayed, since it's a slightly different direction than in the books. Anybody talk about that? Does anybody remember how they're like, at this point in the books, the Tuscadora people are like super friendly with them. Like Ian goes on like hunting trips with them and like stays gone for like 2 or 3 days. And Claire's really good friends with Nayaweme or whatever her name is. It's Ottawame in this one. And like, they're not bellicose like that with them. They're buds. So,
Have they interacted with the Mohawk at this point in the book?
In the book.
I don't think so.
It feels very much like the show is trying to like keep it at arm's length of like, we don't know how to handle this, so we're gonna they're gonna be across the river and we're just gonna kind of pop in on them because we don't know how to do this. That's kind of how it feels.
Yeah. Because then the thing is, I think they also didn't want to go with like 2 different types of tribes, 2 different types of the way it is in the book, where there's the Tuscadora, and then there's the Mohawk, and the Mohawk are, a lot more contentious with them and all of that kind of stuff. And I think they just didn't want to deal with it. I would be surprised if later on, when they do have to go to the Mohawk, that if it's a different tribe, I would be surprised.
Yeah, it's going to be the same people, I think.
Yeah.
How are they going to pull that off?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But I think that was probably maybe they're just waiting for the Mohawk to be the more contentious tribe, and they're waiting to bring them on, because apparently they sent like 200 indigenous extras. So that's definitely not the tribe that we've seen so far. So maybe they're just waiting for that moment. And the Tuscarora are going to be kind of a little bit more on their side at that point.
I thought they were the Cherokee.
They are. In the book, they're the Tuscarora.
Oh, okay. They're Cherokee in this show. The current tribe. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, because I think it was easier for them to talk to the North Carolina and Cherokee people about their traditions and stuff.
Got it.
Yeah, they said there's more source material for them to pull from.
Yeah. And Dee said that Mueller kills a few more people and delivers a few more scalps in the book.
He was bad in the books. Real bad.
Who?
Mueller.
They said a bunch of people in the comments are saying like he was a really good actor. Like he seemed very believable. He truly believed that he did the right thing, right? To remedy the situation by killing. Yeah, he was really good.
Mm-hmm.
The scenes with Claire and him, especially when he comes to deliver the scalp, were really good.
Mm-hmm.
He was an excellent actor and really kind of elevated those scenes really, really well.
It was really great.
Yeah. Good job, whoever you are.
I liked his comments about like, but God should have protected us because we serve the real. I liked that. That was a realistic comment for him to make. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it totally was.
Yeah. Man.
Mm-hmm. I hate it when we have good things to say. It's hard.
Someone bring up a tweet from a Rick Rankin fan real quick. Someone tweet us something we can talk shit about.
I do have something that I think is a little kind of weird. I think it's weird that Murta would be like Mr. Leader of the regulators, getting people riled up at this point. Like he has gone through some shit in the 12 years he was indentured or whatever to like totally change his personality from like surly sidekick to like speech-making leader man. Yeah.
Right. Well, and he's seen Culloden. He has seen what can happen in a similar situation, and now he's like, "Forget it. We're going for it."
Mm-hmm.
Well, and he was in love with Ellen, Jamie's mom, Ellen Fraser. So he would have known Jocasta. Yes.
Yeah.
So why isn't he hanging out down there? That doesn't make any sense. Or at least writing a letter every once in a while.
Jocasta is his mother's sister.
His sister, Ellen's sister. So Jamie's mother's sister. Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing it's because he was indentured and has only been freed from that for a couple of years, and so he got that smithy and he just never left it.
And from the way they make it seem like everyone's like, this is a good job, I'm not leaving it because they're taxing the hell out of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, he should have sent Jocasta a letter. I'm right up the road.
She would have given him a great job. Like, come on.
Yeah.
She needs somebody from the family to like take over for her. Like that could have been Myrta.
Exactly.
And I feel like there would be some war fatigue. Like I feel like there would be some rebellion fatigue. Like, this one's not my fight to fight. I'll just man my forge and ignore all of the overtaxation after my entire life fighting the English.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, it's not really in character for what we know of him at this point. I don't think.
I like it, but it isn't character. Right.
Oh yeah, I definitely like it. And I just think he fights for family. He fights for Jamie. He fights for Claire. He fights for Lallybrook, but he's not in it for himself. And he's definitely not in it for like justice. I don't think. I think he's just in it for their way of life or whatever.
I always felt like he was defending Jamie because he was Ellen's son. Like there was no other reason for it. Like he loved Ellen, therefore he protected whatever Jamie fought for. So the idea that he would have some grand cause to fight for seemed out of character. I don't hate it though, like you're saying.
Andy's bringing up some good points. She said that the Rick Rankin fans hated this episode. Who cares? Because they made him look like he was a stalker. She said she didn't see it, but I totally did. Like when he like showed up to that inn and asked, I was like, oh God. Like it definitely came off stalkery.
Serial killer in her post.
Did he give his name because she ends up giving him the like letter? So she must have known, right? Didn't she say my name or whatever?
She calls out to him like Mr. Wakefield or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's stalkery by our standards now. I think I even mentioned that in my recap. Like, of who are these Invernessians just like giving him as much information as he wants about a single woman who just passed through? Like, that's ridiculous. But at the same time, he's from Inverness. He probably knows them to some degree.
Yeah.
He can just be like, I was raised up the road in the manse. Reverend Wakefield is my dad.
Yeah.
You know,
that would have made more sense. Yeah.
So like, there's plenty of reason for it he's not being stalkery, despite the fact that scene could be seen that way. If you're upset that he looks bad, you should be upset that like he looks bad. You shouldn't be upset like what they're giving him to work with or whatever.
Kristen Anderson said he was a total stalker and very frumpy dumpy.
I didn't get super creepy vibes, but maybe it's just because I know, like when you know the whole story, you're like, oh, whatever. He's just, a crazed boyfriend looking for his girlfriend. I don't know. But tell me more Rick Rankin fan drama.
I know. Seriously. That's the best.
I crack up at them because, like, they actually got him hired. Or, like, they get their serious stance.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't get him hired. But, like, they wanted this guy that they'd seen in, like, one thing to be Roger. And it happened. I don't even know. I don't want to know.
He was on like a BBC episode, like he was in World War I English.
Crimson Shield.
Yeah.
And they were like, this random Scottish actor, he's the guy. This is our man. Like,
I think he may have sang somewhere, maybe on YouTube or somewhere else. So they said, "Oh, he is Roger.
He can sing."
Oh God.
But like, honestly, how stuff like that happens is there's one person who finds somebody and they're like, I really like this guy, but it latches on to their friend group. And then their friend group like multiplies it out as a fan cast. And that's how it happened. Now, nobody can probably find Patient Zero in the Rick Rankin fan casting. I don't want to find Patient Zero in the Rick Rankin fan casting, but whoever you are, I do wonder if you're one of the crazies that blocks people.
All that makes heroes. So who should we cast? Like we should
individual one.
Who do it? Who should be next? I'm telling George Washington. We should cast George Washington.
Let's start calling these characters. Let's just like find some random guys and girls.
I really wish they had done that with Brie.
Oh my God!
Seriously.
Sorry, I like her now.
Wait, what did they use? They were trying to cast Katrina, and they had all those fan videos.
To cast Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones as Brie.
No, but what were all the? Remember there was a bunch of videos that were circulating of people trying to get cast. Was that for Brie or was that for Claire? For Brie. Forever ago.
That was potential Claire. Potential Claire.
Claire.
Possible Claire.
Possible Claire.
Dunbonnet, you guys.
No.
No, it
This
was
was
potential
forever
Claire.
ago.
This was
Possible Claire, I think is what the hashtag we used. We could probably still
Possible
find
Claire
it.
slash,
We're gonna
and
find
sometimes it's Potential Claire. And it was a girl named Anne Virtue or something like that. I don't know,
Oh my
but some
God.
of them still follow her. And they were like, she's so great. Because all these videos were surfacing on Vimeo of people that had sent in their
Vimeo.
tapes. And Potential Claire was a thing that we used to talk about a lot.
We did, because here's a tweet from August 12th, 2013. Just me, or are you suspect of anyone auditioning to play Claire in Outlander who uses the hashtag Potential Claire? That was our tweet. Possible Claire and
So you
Potential
guys
Claire.
are
man.
essentially Rick Rankin fans.
No.
I don't remember
We were making fun of it
Yeah.
because there
And
were
we didn't-
videos of people.
We
were
didn't block
making fun of
anybody. We didn't block anybody for being a Potential Claire.
Oh my
That
God, here it is. Call back tomorrow morning, bright and early. Will some positive energy my way, peeps. XOXO, hashtag Possible Claire. That's a
Who was it?
I don't know. I'm
Anne.
gonna read.
It's
I gotta
that Anne girl. Anne Bird or something.
Yeah, Anne
Oh,
Purvu.
gosh.
Anne Purvu.
I'm not in the right.
Purvu.
I'm in a client account. Let me get out and I'll tweet it. I'll retweet that shit.
Guys, that is a serious callback. That was before like any of you
Wow.
were even around. We didn't know any of you.
Yeah.
It was just me and Becca talking about Outlander.
This is the best. Possible Claire.
Oh man. That's a good 5.5 years ago, guys. I'm feeling good.
This is so good. She's verified. She must have
Like,
gotten
Latrine
some job.
Was like those were good times.
So good.
They were. When I wasn't a part of it. What were you saying?
She got a job on Rain. She was on Rain.
Oh God.
And Purvu. She has 3,500 followers and is verified.
I guarantee
Just
you.
so you know.
She's verified with 3,500 followers. I have 2,800.
Yeah, you could be verified too. I've seen
Thank
worse.
you.
That's
Verified
crazy.
is what is the question. We do need to talk about Willie for next week because I don't want to see him. But real quick, Dee just said on Twitter that one of the other bloggers said that if you cut all of Rick's scenes together, it would look super creepy. I said that in my recap, guys. That was me. Somebody else might have said it too, but I said it best.
Oh, Joe says that fan casting Willie
But yet-
recently was going around. Oh, I must have cut out.
Oh, I heard it. Fan casting Willie?
Mm-hmm. Adult Willie was going around.
Oh no. Can we do something about the fact that Willie looks nothing like Jamie and the whole conceit that he's Jamie's son is absolute bullshit with this kid?
Yeah.
I gotta go find the
Same
trailer
kid.
now.
Yeah, you need it. Yeah,
This
you
is
totally
the same
do.
kid.
I'm annoyed that they don't put the trailer at the end of the screener. I know that we get to watch it early because we're
Oh.
writing usually, but they don't even put it at the end of the the screener. Like, come on. They do it on other shows. Stars.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. You even get the like previously on sometimes in the screener, and I'm like, I just watched it.
Yeah, that's dumb.
I don't know
was-
previously on.
I wasn't in here. Did you guys already mention that he looked like Lord Folkwad?
Young Willie.
Yes.
Courtney pointed out that adult Willie is just a funny phrase. young Willie isn't that much better.
No, they're all bad. Willie is a terrible name. Call him William. Call him Will. Call him Bill. Do not call him Willie. Gross.
Call him Prince Wills.
Yes, Wills. Whatever.
Oh man.
Doesn't he carry around like a small snake, like a Willy with a small snake?
Oh,
Does he?
From Jamie,
Yeah.
the snake he gave him.
Mac. Does he do that? Does he carry it around with him?
In the
Oh, I'm
book.
sure he does.
I feel like Willie's personality is not sentimental. Like he wouldn't give a shit about some servant in the past because he's not sentimental. He's like so self-absorbed or whatever.
Does Willie become a big deal in Fiery Cross?
No, but in the other books he does.
What other books? What's the one after that?
All the other ones.
Breath of Snow and Ashes and Egg of Bone and My Own Heart's Blood. Why do I know the names of these books that I haven't read?
And now the Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone, which seems like it doesn't even go with the titles, but whatever. So I'm going to continue reading Discovery of Witches and not read Fiery Cross because you haven't sold it to me.
Fiery Cross is one of the worst books I've ever read.
Oh, great. God.
It's so boring.
Yeah, I would agree.
Boring.
Breath of Snow and Ashes is probably my second favorite in the series, though.
Yeah, I heard. I've heard that was really
need to
good.
read Fiery Cross to like, or should you just jump?
That means quickly skim, but you need it, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Surely there's a good wiki out there. We can ask Karen Henry to just summarize it for us.
Let's invite Karen Henry on one of these. How would she react to this?
I just found the post about potential Claire. That's what I've been doing this whole time. I just retweeted it. I tweeted it. It's from 2013. I just tweeted it. That was 5 years ago. We've been writing about this for over 5 years.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was like May of 2013 when they announced the show for sure, and I was like, I'm on it. Yeah.
Yeah, this post is from August 2013. That is just, I know, a lot has happened in the last 5 years.
Gosh.
We've
been writing for Twilight for almost 10 years.
10 years? This week.
A damn decade, let me just tell you.
Actually,
Some days it feels like everyone.
What?
We passed my That's Normal anniversary last month. It was
congrats.
6 years.
We celebrated
Thanks
that.
for being a part of it.
6 years. Yeah, it had to have been because you were number 4 and it's been around for over 6 years.
Number 4.
Oh my God. We don't celebrate anniversaries around here. All right.
Guys.
Well, this was great. We talked positive. No one's going to leave a bad comment. Actually, there were comments even on your post being like, I didn't like that episode that much. Like, wow.
I know.
Tough crowd.
I made the mistake of clicking on an Outlander Facebook post and everyone was like, this is the worst part of adaptation. They don't know the character. I was like, shut up.
Yeah.
I should have recorded the comment.
Which makes sense. So that we're going to...
Is that it? They want Jamie and Claire sex? Is that the complaint?
Yep.
No, they just want like a literal book to screen adaptation. They want like herbs drying and her trying to make penicillin and no Murtaugh.
I'm telling you, if you think that these characters were not the characters, then you have not read the books. Like they were fully in character.
They even have the white sow in character.
Yeah, but I think
in character.
They can only think past like, this is my version of Outlander. It is what is on the page, and that's it. And so those people who, if that's what they're looking for, then they like every other episode. We're never going to be see eye to eye. We will like every episode that just goes against that. That is actual an adaptation of the characters we love. Like that's what an adaptation is about. Things that are written on the page do not translate on screen. And so anyone who's good at their job is going to get that across.
I mean, it could be a word for word translation of the book if it's good television. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But it rarely is when they do it like that.
Right.
And then sometimes they miss things that are in the book and that are there for a reason that we love and that we like really anticipate seeing because it's so important.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's something dumb like slippery as a water weed or Claire's masturbation scene on the rock. Like we talked about how they like got rid of that and did this other sex scene in the first episode. Like they don't get what we remember. Like the things that are iconic, sometimes they skip over it. And they're like, oh, we gave you kind of a sort of a thing that's kind of like that. So you'll be fine. And we're like, no.
Yeah.
You missed slippery as a water weed. You missed the scene in the grotto at the very, very end of Outlander. Like you missed things that are like indelible on an Outlander, and that sucks. But at the same time, the adaptation is worth it when they're in character and when it's surprising. So yeah, they're going to miss stuff, but when their characters are good and they're there, it's not something to complain about. You know?
Yeah,
I agree. It's because they don't have people who are actual fans as any sort of consultant, as any sort of writer.
Well, they're costume designers.
they're just the costume designer. I understand that. And you don't need to be a fan, but maybe just read along. Like more than just hire like, you know, a cool writer that you heard of to a friend, you know. There's missing that like they understand the fandom in a discerning sort of way.
I mean, some
Right.
of the like YA fandom book to movie adaptations that we've loved so much of the last 10 years, I mean, they did the right thing. They had conference calls once a month with fans. The directors and the producers would get on the phone and ask the fans. We have been on those phone conversations. And I think that shows a lot about where their minds were, about what fans want. And then we saw certain things integrated into Twilight that would have never made it there had fans not had a voice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's possible.
And it has to make it down to the production level. Like a lot of times the studio and a network are
Yeah.
totally down and they want to involve fans, but the production is who is actually making the show.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got to get on the phone with Matt Roberts, which I don't think any of us are going to do. So
Give us a call. Let's do a Skype. We'll give you the goods.
Or, hire one of us because we know how to, we can do it. We could write for you. It'd be
Yeah.
so easy. Oh my God, an episode of Outlander would be so easy.
So easy.
I've done it many times, my own private fan fiction.
Oh, send us your screen name.
Have
Rick
Outlander.
Rankin fan.
Rankin fan, not rank and file.
Hashtag possible Claire, 1980.
It features a lot of Roger kissing a diamond shaped person.
Oh, like we need some good Photoshop manipulations. I feel like we haven't seen any good ones.
No.
Wow.
I was
I'm not
gonna wear
Outlander
a gunny-
fandom.
I was going to wear a gunny sack dress today that I have in my costume box
Oh
as an
my
homage.
gosh.
As an homage to Brianna's outfit that she thinks is going to pass for something contemporary to the 18th century. I have two of them. They're super awesome.
They're like, what is that machine-made lace that's on the bottom of your dress that
And
would
this
never be
zipper
made by
thing.
hands?
But
And
yeah,
that
I might wear it
terrible
next
bun you
week.
have.
All right, you better.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes my boobs
well,
look good. That's why I wore it in high school.
You still have something from high school. Nice.
I have I wear everything from high school. But they're mostly in my costume box.
You need to pair the gunny sack dress with the Santa hat that you wore for Sam's wig, like season 1, and you can be a full Brianna look. I mean,
It says that Santa hat says 1987 across the top of it. So
all right.
all right, you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. See you next time for Blood of My Blood. Bye.
Gross.